Stage and screen actor James Earl Jones, who won Tony Awards for The Great White Hope and Fences, and whose majestic basso profundo voice would become internationally recognized as the villainous Darth Vader in the Star Wars franchise, has died, his representative confirmed to CBS News. At age 93. Jones representative Barry McPherson told CBS News that the actor died Monday morning surrounded by his family. He did not provide additional details. Tributes poured in following news of Jones' death. Actor Mark Hamill, who played Darth Vader's son Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars movies, wrote, #RipDad, with a broken heart emoji on social media.
And who are you?
I am a man who has never tied his own shoes before.
Wrong. You are a prince who has never tied his shoes. Me, I tied my own shoes once. It is an overrated experience.
That is a legendary actor, James Earl Jones, in the 1980s classic, Coming to America, showing you that he could do comedy as well. In fact, James Earl Jones, with that voice, with the way he carried himself in every room he was in, could do just about anything on stage or on screen. Vlad Dutier looks back at the remarkable life of an American icon yesterday at the age of 93.
James Earl Jones was an industry giant.
Steel isn't strong, boy.
Whose unmistakable, deep, booming voice captivated audiences for more than 6 decades.
This field, this game, it's a part of our past, Ray.
Jones's career spanned film, television, and theater. In 1968, he had his breakout performance.
When I'm fighting, I feel double good.
The Broadway play, The Great White Hope, based on the life of boxer Jack Johnson, earned him his first Tony Award.
Are you the Black Hope?
Well, I'm black and I'm hoping.
Born in Arkabutla, Mississippi in 1931, Jones was raised by his grandparents on a small farm. As a child, he overcame a severe stutter, which caused him not to speak for years.
Bully would have run me out.
I know that.
Oh, why did you?
That's my business, Miss Daisy.
Jones appeared in more than 20 Broadway plays, delivering memorable performances as the raspy old man in Driving Miss Daisy and his portrayal of a working-class father impacted by racism in August Wilson's hit play, Fences.
You put a sir on the end of it when you talk to me. Yes, sir. Jesus, you look like hell.
Jones gained international fame on the big screen, too, as the voice of some of the most iconic characters in popular culture.
I am your father. One day, Simba, the sun will set on my time here and will rise with you as the new king.
A recipient of the National Medal of the Arts for his contributions to the arts, Jones garnered numerous awards. He has the rare EGOT, earning an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. Throughout his career, he remembered a lesson in drama school.
Our teachers encouraged us ethnic actors, not to wait until a play came along that had a black guy or an Asian guy or whatever. Pick plays with good characters.
And, indeed, he did, turning characters of a lifetime into unforgettable performances.
What a voice, what a life.
I was just going to say, what a voice, what a life, what a man.
Yeah.
Man, and incredible.
James Earl Jones, thank you for the work that you have left behind.
Yeah. Field of Dreams.
It's a good way to say it.
All-time favorites.
So many classics.
So many classics. It's actually it's hard to talk into a microphone following that guy talking into a microphone.
There will never be another of his particular combination of graces, actor LeVar Burton wrote. An actor renowned for his theatrical presence in works by Shakespeare, Eugene O'Neill, Tennessee Williams, Jean Genet, Anton Chekhov, August Wilson, Athol Fugard and Alfred Urey, and in such acclaimed films as Field of Dreams, Jones would become even more famous for his voice, whether it was as a commercial pitchman, an announcer for CNN, the father of Disney's animated Lion King, or a Dark Lord of the Sith, all the more remarkable given that as a child he suffered a stutter, which continued throughout his life. I stuttered so badly it was embarrassing and very painful, Jones told CBS News, Sunday morning, in 2008. Jones' road to overcoming his stutter would lead to a monumental career on Broadway and in Hollywood, with nearly 200 film and TV credits. He broke ground on soap operas appearing on CBS, As the World Turns, and Guiding Light, worked with such directors as Stanley Kubrick, Franco Zeffirelli, George Lucas, John Sayles and James Ivory, won a Grammy for a spoken word recording, and lent his voice to recordings of works as varied as Lewis Carroll, Sesame Street, The King James Bible and The Simpsons. In 2008, when he returned to Broadway to play Big Daddy in a revival of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Jones was asked if the stage was an oasis for him. "Oh, I wouldn't say that. An oasis is a place for survival," he remarked. "And this is about joy. It's a playpen." Jones was born on January 17, 1931, in Arcaboutla, Mississippi. His parents separated before his birth, and he was left to be raised by his maternal grandparents, who moved the family from their Mississippi farm to the Midwest. Growing up in the backwoods of Michigan, Jones credited an English teacher who helped him overcome his stutter, which had caused him to speak hardly a word from the time he was 6 until he was 14. "Professor Crouch was my English teacher. And when he discovered that I secretly wrote poetry, he challenged me," Jones told Sunday Morning. He said, "Jim, if you like words that much, you should be able to say them out loud. Why don't you get up in front of the class and read that poem that you wrote? The only way you can prove you wrote it is to say it out loud but from memory." Regaining the power of speech through poetry inspired Jones to pursue a career in the arts. After starting out pre-med at the University of Michigan, he switched to drama in his junior year. An ROTC member, Jones served in the Army as a second lieutenant beginning in 1953, training at Fort Benning in Georgia, and was assigned to Camp Hale near Leadville, Colorado. He was discharged as a first lieutenant. In New York, Jones studied at the American Theater Wing, cleaning toilets while he auditioned for parts. He landed his first Broadway role in 1957, appeared in experimental plays off-Broadway, starred in numerous Shakespeare productions including Othello, Coriolanus, The Merchant of Venice, Troilus and Cressida, Hamlet, and King Lear, was featured in the films Drive, Strangelove, and The Comedians, and on TV's Guiding Light, and As the World Turns. In 1967, the Arena Stage, in Washington, D.C., reached out to Jones, then working in Europe, to star in Howard Sackler's The Great White Hope, a drama inspired by the life of a black boxer, Jack Johnson, who contended against the heavyweight champion, a white man. Howard suggested that I start getting into shape, which was really important. The man was a boxer, but which I was not and am not and will never be, Jones said to Smithsonian Magazine. In fact, the young man who was my understudy on stage, Yaphet Kotto, resembled Jack much more than I did. In 1969, Jones won a Tony Award for The Great White Hope, after the show transferred to Broadway. He earned an Oscar nomination for the 1970 film version. His film work thinned in the 70s, despite notable appearances in Claudine, The Man, as the first black president, The Bingo Long Traveling All-Stars and Motor Kings, A Piece of the Action, The Greatest, playing Malcolm X, and the TV movies, The K, The UFO Incident, and Jesus of Nazareth. He appeared on stage as Paul Robeson, Lenny in Of Mice and Men, and Hickman in The Iceman Cometh. But it was a voiceover job for a science fiction film that would launch his career into the stratosphere. Providing the ominous voice of Darth Vader, Jones recorded his dialogue for George Lucas's Star Wars in about 2.5 hours. Salary, around $7,000. "I was broke and for me that was good money," he said. "I got lucky. It was easier than other voiceover jobs because no lip syncing was involved. Darth Vader had no lips, so Jones simply responded to the body language of David Prowse, the British actor bodybuilder who acted the role of Vader behind the devilish mask." A breathing effect created by sound effects artist Ben Burt, who placed a microphone inside a scuba regulator, was added to Jones' voice, making Vader sound less than human. Jones requested his name not appear in the credits, out of deference to Prowse. Jones would not be credited as the voice of Vader until the release of Return of the Jedi. But when he came to record the role for The Empire Strikes Back, Jones asked Lucas about deepening the character. "Naturally, I wanted to make Darth Vader more interesting, more subtle, more psychologically oriented," he told the American Film Institute. And Lucas said, No. What we're finding out is you've got to keep his voice on a very narrow band of inflection because he ain't human, really. But Vader was a dad." And when Jones came to record the game-changing line about Luke Skywalker's parentage, "I am your father," Jones was sure he was lying, and that the real truth would come out in the subsequent film. Beyond the Star Wars universe, Jones' film and TV credits included Roots, The Next Generation, Conan the Barbarian, Gardens of Stone, Coming to America, Mattawan, Field of Dreams, The Hunt for Red October, Gabriel's Fire, Patriot Games, Sneakers, Summersby, Clear and Present Danger, and Cry, The Beloved Country, in addition to numerous narration credits. He also voiced Mufasa, the father of Simba, in Disney's The Lion King, and, of course, the character of Vader in all its prequel, sequel, TV and video game iterations. It was for Jones a happy accident that the stutterer should become best known for his voice. That's the best irony. I am an irony, he told The Early Show in 2002. Therefore, I can't take any credit or any pride. Pats on the shoulder don't count. I'm just happy to be able to talk, but the irony is just wonderful and I can smile and say, oh, the voice. The voice of the century, the voice of God, the voice of blah blah blah. It's just irony. His later Broadway roles included Othello, Master Harold, and The Boys, Fences, On Golden Pond, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Driving Miss Daisy, You Can't Take It With You, and The Gin Game. Jones won 2 Emmy Awards for Heat Wave and Gabriel's Fire, and a Daytime Emmy for the children's special, Summer's End. He was a Kennedy Center honoree in 2002, received a Lifetime Achievement Screen Actors Guild Award in 2009, and was awarded an honorary Oscar in 2012 which granted him EGOT status. In 2017 he received a special Tony for Lifetime Achievement. In 2022 a Broadway theater, The Court, was renamed the James Earl Jones Theater in his honor. It was the same house where he performed in Sunrise at Campobello in 1958. On the occasion of the renaming, Jones told CBS Mornings that he took great pride in the longevity of his career. By taking one step at a time, I've found great treasures, he said. Every step I take.
And go through life, worried if somebody like you or not.
James Earl Jones was born in rural Mississippi in 1931, raised by his mother and his grandparents. As a child, he developed a debilitating stutter.
You never get over it, really. You simply learn how to work around it, you know.
A high school teacher helped Jones find his confidence and his voice. He fell in love with the stage at the University of Michigan and debuted on Broadway in 1957.
Just want to block and then keeping him off me.
His breakthrough Tony-winning performance came as boxing champ Jack Johnson in The Great White Hope, which was later turned into a movie.
Because every time you push that pinched-up face in front of me, I see where it done got me.
As his movie career grew, he continued acting on the small screen.
I shall pray for you morning and evening.
For over 70 years, he graced stage and screen with a voice that commanded attention.
Don't you try.
The first celebrity guest on Sesame Street.
I am your father.
But it was a 2.5-hour voiceover session for George Lucas that changed his life.
So he hires a guy born in Mississippi, raised in Michigan, who stutters. And that's the voice, and that's me. I lucked out.
The role propelled him, or at least his voice, to worldwide fame as Darth Vader in Star Wars. For the next 40 years, he excelled on stage, winning a second Tony Award.
James Earl.
And on the big screen, a Navy admiral in The Hunt for Red October.
And I was never here.
In The Lion King.
You are more than what you have become.
The voice of a network.
This is CNN.
And the voice of all baseball fans in Field of Dreams.
People will come, Ray. People will most definitely come.
He received an honorary Academy Award, had a Broadway theater named for him, became a Kennedy Center honoree, continuing to work in new projects and revisiting classic roles.
I'm only brave when I have to be. May I have your attention, please?
On screen and in life, James Earl Jones was a king.
The goal wasn't to be a millionaire or to be a Hollywood star, to be a part of good storytelling. The goal was about that. I found you!
He found his voice, and we got a legend. Steve Patterson, NBC News, Los Angeles.